The YouTube user, Scientist Keith, was kind enough to point me to 2 videos Reverend Kent Hovind made, wherein Reverend Hovind made a stellar idiot out of himself while trying to talk about stars. I've mentioned in the past that the chief problem with correcting lies and falsehoods creationists spew is that it can take a long time to correct a lie that takes just seconds to tell. A 20-minute video of Reverend Kent Hovind's can take a great many hours to correct all of his lies and falsehoods. And all the while, he just spews more lies. This means I will have to make multiple videos to correct the lies in just one of Reverend Hovind's videos. This video is therefore the first in a series that I fear will number around 6. The speed of light in a vacuum is known to be constant. This is observed to be true both by experiment and by mathematical derivatives of quantum physics. Even in a gravity well, the speed remains the same even when light is bent. Since scientists observe a universe filled with stars and galaxies that emit light to be billions of light years across, this is conclusive and convincing evidence that the universe itself is billions of years old. Some young Earth creationists try to explain away this problem by saying their favorite gods made light appear to be coming from billion-year-old astronomical objects by creating light in transit. This, of course, means their gods are actively deceiving us humans into believing the universe is billions of years old when it is not. That deception is unpopular among other young Earth creationists, such as Reverend Kent Hovind, who wish to make their gods appear morally perfect. It is also unpopular with creationists such as Reverend Hovind, who wish to appear to be scientific in their denunciation and rejection of most contemporary sciences. The irony of that attempt, of course, is usually lost to them. In the 2 videos I am here making video replies about, Reverend Kent Hovind has insisted that all of the world's scientists who work in several scientific venues, from astronomy, cosmology, classical physics, quantum physics, chemistry, optics, and even mathematics, are all wrong. Fine. It is entirely possible that they are all wrong, and Reverend Hovind is right when he says they're all wrong. One person with the correct answer trumps hundreds of thousands of people with the wrong answer. However, Reverend Hovind very clearly shows he does not know what the bloody fuck he is talking about when it comes to rejecting most of modern sciences. If you view Reverend Hovind's videos that I am currently replying video making to, you will notice that he never actually got around to explaining why the universe appears to be billions of years old, when his occult beliefs tell him it is only a few thousand years old. Instead of offering an explanation, he just said that scientists are wrong about how light works and how they measure the size and age of the universe.
It seems that about every 30 years a star explodes. After searching the heavens, they've only found 300 supernova rings.
Hovind's mentioning supernova remnants, which scientists abbreviate to SNRs, is evading the question of ancient light. Reverend Hovind knew better than to actually answer the question. He knows damn well he cannot. Instead, he based his argument on the assumption that ancient light is not ancient light. Or in other words, he is claiming scientists are too stupid, too ignorant, and too incompetent to know what they are doing. In the video, Reverend Hovind claimed that one star goes supernova about every 30 years. He also claimed that there are about 300, quote, supernova rings, unquote. Note that this gives him a time span, when multiplied together, of 9,000 years, which is the figure he wanted to see before the fact. Note also that the actual number is an average of one supernova every 25 years in the universe in general, and every 50 years in galaxies like the Milky Way galaxy. What I find amusing is that supernovas are evidence themselves of an old universe. High-density stars take from 15 million to 30 million years to turn supernova. Medium-density stars take billions of years to go supernova. Low-density stars, of course, do not go supernova. Even one SNR is contrary to Reverend Hovind's occult beliefs. Reverend Hovind is also wrong about the number of supernova observed. As of this year, there are around 4,300 supernova remnants observed. His estimate of a mere 300 is wrong by more than one order of magnitude. No star pun intended. Reverend Hovind brought up supernova rings as an attempt to show a young universe. The problem with this is that it shrinks the universe in size to a very tiny fraction of what it actually is. He later expanded on his assertion of a small universe by insisting distant objects are not actually distant. The Milky Way galaxy is about 80,000 to 100,000 light years across in diameter. We are located in or near the unfashionable Orion Arm, making us unpopular and hard to visit. There are estimated to be around 300 billion galaxies in the universe. Reverend Hovind wants to compress all 300 billion galaxies into a space of a mere 9,000 light years or so in diameter. An absurd impossibility. But that is the conclusion one must reach if observed supernova remnants are used to date the age of the universe. Using Reverend Hovind's flawed and fraudulent method of multiplying the number of observed supernova remnants, which is currently about 4,300, by the average time between supernovas, which Reverend Hovind said is 30 years, then we come to an age of the universe of 129,000 years, which of course is not what Reverend Hovind wants, and he can't abide by that figure. He believes his Bible says the universe is not much older than around 10,000 years. Using the actual average of 25 years between supernova, we get 107,500 years. In galaxies like the one we live in, the Milky Way galaxy, the average is around 50 years between supernova. That gives us an age of 215,000 years. Or in other words, Reverend Hovind's flawed method yields an age for the universe much older than he believes it is, yet vastly younger than it actually is. And here's the kicker, which makes Reverend Hovind's usage of supernova remnants useless for determining the age of the universe. Supernova remnants fade into being undetectable within about 1 million years after they have gone supernova. Not just undetectable by current technologies, but undetectable by all future technologies we can possibly imagine. The remnant material fades into the interstellar background very quickly, astronomically speaking. There are other flaws in Hovind's usage of SNRs, but that is the most fatal flaw.
So the question would be, if the universe is millions of years old, why aren't there more supernova rings, the remnants of these blown-up stars? That indicates only a few thousand years.
The answer is because supernova remnants fade past the point where we can see them. Also, it does not, quote, add up to a few thousand years, unquote. It currently adds up to 250,000 years if the technique were valid. The technique is not valid.
There are plenty of stars out there, but we've never seen one star forming.
That is, of course, a lie, and Reverend Hovind has been corrected and called on the carpet regarding that lie, yet he keeps repeating it. The fuck happened to my light? Astronomers have found a very great many stars in the process of forming. In fact, the Milky Way galaxy alone is churning out new stars almost as fast as Reverend Hovind churns out lies. The nebula RCW49, as one example, is in the process of making more than 300 new stars. And that is just a tiny fraction of the observable universe. So, to conclude, I have now corrected a mere 2 minutes of one of Reverend Hovind's videos. My next video in the series will correct more of the lies in that video.